go over the different motivations for the new technology, as well as some use cases, and then really what it takes to really put in that technology. So just a quick overview for the digital ecosystem. There's 4 key attributes whenever you're thinking about how to innovate and bring something digital to market. You want decision-making, connectivity, innovation, as well as automation throughout your entire process. Now these 4 key areas then provide an enhanced solution to these 6 areas, whether it's customer experience, digital fulfillment, risk optimization, enhanced corporate control, distribution, marketing and sales, or product service and service innovation. And this is important because what we all know about blockchain, it's a decentralized format, whether it can be a public or private scenario and environment. Those are all designed for risk optimization and enhanced corporate control. And now where augmented reality and bots like Alexa and Slack come in is with that customer experience and really innovating that product and service capability. So what's driving this? So here we have some great figures to showcase why incorporating Alexa, next generation technologies, augmented reality into your products and services are fundamental. Without customers and consumers, there is no ROI, there is no benefit, there is no bottom line. 73% of purchases are influenced by that customer experience. Having Alexa, having augmented reality is now a new way to completely engage with your existing customers. 43% of customers would spend more on web purchases if it was more convenient. That's what Alexa is there to do. Be more convenient. Order things, order dish soap while you're washing your hands. Order, trash bags while you're cooking dinner. You have that capability for instant engagement and purchasing. And then 48% of purchases were made on competitor sites for poor performance, poor experience. So if you're not providing this increased customer engagement and enhanced customer experience, your competitors sure will be, and your consumers will now turn to their consumers. As we see, just as a quick little reminder, these technologies are already starting to be adopted by some of the largest verticals. Financial, as you can see, is already including big data, IoT, as well as mobile payments into their existing offerings. So now, really where blockchain can actually enhance that digital ecosystem is in these 4 areas: streamlining operations, asset management, reducing risk, and providing that collaboration platform that is really built on a secured, sharing, interoperability of that data. And where that customer experience can really be leveraged with that type of streamlined operations and that collaboration platform is by having the voice bots, chat bots, and augmented reality linked into those engagements. Voice bots, for example, can always be available, respond immediately, replicate human actions, and then compare all types of information in an automatic fashion. Being able to have that capability when you're processing as much of information as that needs to be consumed on a blockchain network is immensely beneficial. Not needing to go into multiple user interfaces or portals or logins, having that capability through that voice is instrumental. Or using everyday applications such as Slack or Messenger. And then augmented reality showcases the user's surroundings, gives that contextual information and relevant information for that user as they're operating within their job or their daily lives. And augmented reality is really just becoming, just hitting the tip of what it can really do. We talk about customer experience and engagement. Augmented reality is providing unprecedented areas where that can actually occur. So now I'll go into the meat of what we're all here to talk about. Some great use cases in actually combining a blockchain network with augmented reality as well as different bots. Now, just to give a quick overview, I don't want to go too deep in this right here. We know blockchain is all about having a transaction between A and B, and then a transaction is recorded, validated, and then an updated ledger. And then the types we can have are private, consortium, and public blockchains, all having the capabilities of different read and write permissions based off of what the intended use is and who needs to be using them. So for the first use case I'll talk about is quality assurance and using bots and blockchain to produce quality software within the market. As I mentioned earlier, InfoStretch, we're big on digital assurance. We're a digital first company, and we focus a lot on shifting companies from agile to agile and shifting left within their development and life cycle. What we noticed is that quality engineering wasn't always adopted within these organizations, and they were having trouble achieving goals like DevOps and really being able to beat their competition. Within that, 99% still faced it, of our customers still faced challenges within testing, and 73% saw that testing was a bottleneck within their DevOps initiatives. So the quality engineering element was testing had fragmented systems, poor visibility, lack of integration, inaccurate reporting, and poor compliance. And with blockchain, we know that it really is all about tracking a life history of something, whether it's a coin or a meme now with the kitty tokens, or we can even apply it to blockchain with user stories, use cases, test cases, providing additional visibility and traceability as well as accountability throughout your entire development lifecycle. We incorporate platforms like Jira, Bitbucket, tools like like Jira, Bitbucket, and Jenkins. We then combine user stories, code commits, and build results into events that can be placed on that blockchain network. As we know, with those test environments, you're now producing reports. How well your product is performing, where vulnerabilities may lie, what issues could come up, or how well it can actually perform in market. Now, as a user, we don't just talk about using a product or buying a product through Amazon or at Whole Foods, but there's also developers are users as well. CEOs are users as well. Being able to use something like Slack to access the blockchain to get reports, or some other technology that you're already currently using, maybe it's Alexa while you're taking a shower, you're getting ready in the morning. What were the build results? What were the performance tests? What bugs, what code red bugs do we have that we need to address first thing in the morning when we get in? So then giving that capability for interacting with that dashboard and those results through that blockchain network. As you see here, just to go a little bit deeper, what we do is we create, user stories are created, and either via bot or via chat. This is the other way around. How do we then not just provide an output, but provide an input into the blockchain network? And so whether it's through Slack or through Alexa, whatever it may be, if you want to create a new user story or run a specific test case, you can actually call that command through those technologies. Then the test case is ran against the appropriate user stories. Development and code commit occurs, and then check the code branches and run the test automation. As we know, throughout an entire development lifecycle, you need to test whatever it is you're building. And so now this gives the capability to not only test that and run that automation through your everyday technologies without needing to log in, but also gives you that life history of when user stories are created, the whole test case that's created, really understanding what that whole life history of fails and events and vulnerabilities is. And we've already started to implement this for a few companies, and really are starting to see value in being able to address where their test case and their repositories really need to be revisited. Now for use case 2. talk about payment and bots in blockchain, with payment interfaces as our main focus. As we know, whether it's an Amazon account or a Chase Bank account or whatever it may be, sometimes there's multiple users. Whether it's your son or your daughter ordering the latest poster or bedspread on your Amazon Prime account, or maybe it's your spouse or partner adjusting the savings within your Washington Mutual account. There can be multiple users on different accounts, but you need to be able to track and view that history. Additionally, the lack of visibility is monumental. There needs to be an ability to not only track that, but also have it available for the life history of those events and those transactions. For the network example that we give here, there's one account but a second user. They place that order through Alexa, whether it's calling or whether it's ordering dish soap or ordering some Beats headphones, whatever it may be. There's the online payment portal such as Amazon that communicates through the Alexa technology, and then data from that ledger identifies the customer, and they verify the payment terms. Then they verify the customer data on the blockchain platform, accesses the customer data, and provides the correct verification information to the vendor, distributor, and manufacturer. Where it's going to come from, how's it going to get there, who's going to deliver it. All that information, all within a blockchain platform, and being able to then provide the payment charge as well as automating the order processing through smart contracts. And then once the notification or once the shipment is en route or arrived, or there may be a delay, that notification can be sent to the user, and all of that tracked on the blockchain platform that we've created as well. All right, use case 3. This is kind of a fun one for me. Blockchain and AR for structural engineering. As we know, there's many responsible parties when actually building something physical, especially with large magnitudes like the convention center that we're in right now. There needs to be tracking of real-time progress and updates. Heaven forbid there's a hurricane or an earthquake. You need to know exactly what changes are happening versus your plan versus what's happening in reality. And there's a disconnect between what is planned and what is performed off. What materials are used, who signed off, where's that payment coming from as well. I have some family members and some friends in the construction business, and they always joke about, all right, we completed the work, but we're not going to get paid for another 2 or 3 weeks, and so they always wonder, all right, who has the beer money for the night? So we always say, all right, how can we make this payment process happen a little faster? So the example here that we have in the use case is that there's an architect, and they develop a plan that they want to build, and they not only submit the plan for approval, but then upload that whether it be CAD design or whatever it may be, within an augmented reality interface, and then are able to actually transfer those plans and materials to a general contractor. Through that smart contract to the general contractor, they're able to go on site and make sure there's no physical limitations or elements in the way that it's going to impact how that building or that plan comes into action. Additionally, when they're going through and checking off all those areas, that all is tracked on the blockchain platform to showcase that general contractor actually checked the boxes and did what they were supposed to do to approve. Again, providing accountability through the blockchain platform based off of how that structure is getting built. Additionally, they can then transfer that plan again through a smart contract to a subcontractor who would be building specific areas, whether it's windows or floors, the foundation, whatever it may be. They're then integrating that checklist as well, whether it's their performance or who's doing it, assigning who's actually performing which task within their team. and then incorporating the specific materials they're using, making sure they're up to code, or if there's a sustainability issue, or any other element that they want to make sure is incorporated within their building. And that way it's all tracked within a blockchain network, so then there's that true visibility across that building specifically. Then, as they would then transfer ownership of that plan in augmented reality to a city inspector, they would be, again, on site looking at the plan versus looking at what was built, seeing all of the checklists, being able to counteract and understand exactly where adjustments may have been made, why they were made, and then see what that end result is still, and if it's still up to code, or if there needs to be adjustments in that process. And last one, use case 4. This one actually does touch a little home to me. I used to work with a pharmaceutical traceability company, and we were always enamored by how much products were counterfeit each year. We had 70% of the country's distribution on our network, but the market for counterfeit pharmaceuticals is pretty outstanding. $50 billion a year is made just in counterfeit pharmaceuticals. So that's, there's a huge application for blockchain within the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. This example will go over augmented reality and chat as well within that, and how that can actually be leveraged, along with some additional elements. So a main factor driving this use case, which I guess we can actually call a case study now, because we're actually have implemented it for one of our customers, and delivered on that POC. And now we're seeing where our next steps are to really provide additional value and how they can incorporate that other systems into a similar platform. But again, driving factors: authenticity issues, lack of ability to communicate easy, poor usability of traditional interfaces, and there's many different users, so how do you attribute all of that data? So example here, let's say there's this 70-year-old grandmother, and she wants to order, refill her arthritis medication. Arthritis is, it's a chronic illness. It's not going to just go away. There has to be continual investment in treatment within that issue. And so what the patient can do, that instead of typing or calling on the phone to refill the prescription, what they can do is they can actually scan that prescription bottle through their augmented reality application, and then swipe left or swipe right, whichever the developers want to make it be, and you can see actually the side effects and interactions. Maybe they could want to report an illness, want to report an issue that they're facing with that specific drug. Now all of that can then be pushed to either the manufacturer or their doctor, or both, with those side effects on that blockchain network, so there's complete visibility and traceability into those side effects. And then say they swipe again and they want to refill the prescription. By scanning the prescription bottle and accessing it within augmented reality, they're now able to do one click and authorize how they want to get that medication refilled, which pharmacy, where they want to be. And then additionally, with great technology now, you can actually have the Face ID identification to make sure that there's the wrong person is reordering the prescription. There's the health insurance provider, which would be able to identify the patient as well as verify the plan and coverage, send that verified patient information to the blockchain platform, and then be able to access patient data and send that to physicians, pharmacies, and the manufacturer. And then that claim would be verified, and they would determine the dosage amount as well as automating the insurance charge, and then could notify that person through a smart contract or through Alexa that their prescription is ready to pick up. So really being able to address all issues and limitations within that healthcare case study. So putting it into action. Lastly, I'll just touch over what it really takes. Like I mentioned previously, we're a big digital assurance and digital innovation company. And what we do is we provide quality engineering, product and platform engineering, shifting that agile lifecycle, smart solutions like IoT and Alexa, and then intelligence-based actions to be able to provide predictive analytics as well as other capabilities on top of your existing development environment to be able to get to market. But the challenges that we see here are data, data, data. There are lots of challenges. When you're talking about augmented reality, bots, chatbots, Alexa, whatever it may be, the more data you have, the more use cases and verifications you can actually have within your system. So if you don't have the correct data, you're not going to get the correct result. Then you need a high level of automation to make these products work, and you really need involvement from every single stakeholder involved. And then just assessing that AR and bot implementation, it is really about that data maturity and being able to get a customer or get a company into the ability to have prescriptive and prescriptive actions. We see a lot of quality analytics in terms of data warehousing for reports and streaming analytics, but not very much on that automated prescription adoption and then being able to have those automation triggers. So that's where we come in, is really being able to transform different companies to get to this automation and blockchain readiness so they can start implementing these solutions today. Questions? I guess I'm out of time, but if you want, I'll be right over here. Feel free to come talk to me, and thank you all for listening.